Those little things are so important. I stayed at a hotel recently in Dallas and had a really really cool experience. The manager went out of his way to kind of hook me up with a really cool room, and he told me, he was like, "Hey, one caveat though, I need you to go in and leave a Google review."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll do that." And I was really surprised. It's only been a couple weeks, and one of the pictures that I posted has 1,500 views. And so, that manager was like, that room was probably there anyways. So just by making that statement, he got a lot of really neat feedback from a customer that I trust. That if I go to look for anything in town, if I look for a restaurant, I'm not looking at the restaurant's description so much as I'm looking at feedback from other customers. And yeah, so there's a lot of value there. How do you really do what that hotel manager did and make sure you're getting that feedback?
Yeah, I mean, with the COVID vaccines, we tried to encourage them all to, either put a poster up that says, go review us on Google if you had a great experience. You can also just hand out bag stuffers in your pharmacy with a QR code to your Google page or your Facebook page, or ask people to review you on social media, just posting something to your page. Because you're right, people absolutely do that. People use Facebook and Google, obviously, as search tools. They're doing their homework before they even set foot in a business. So, if somebody goes to those pages for a pharmacy and they see that there's no interaction, maybe you haven't got a review in a couple of years, they're going to kind of question, well, how busy or how current is this pharmacy? So it may make them pause of using your pharmacy, and especially if you've got a lot of other competitors in town, they may look to see, well, what are some of the other pharmacies doing? So getting reviews is definitely important. We try to kind of do a push each quarter with our clients, ask people to review you on Facebook and Google are great. Yelp in some areas are popular. It kind of depends on where you're at in the country. But, just asking customers, again, I think sometimes we're afraid to ask for that business. So just, saying, hey, did you love your service today? If you don't mind taking a couple minutes and doing a quick review on our Facebook page, that would be great. So that kind of stuff definitely goes a long way in the overall marketing of the pharmacy.
Yeah. So have you seen any pharmacies recently that have really kind of leaned into their, I don't know, what makes them special? I think, when you think about marketing that is memorable or works for independents, it's, you can think of pharmacies that have a brand that is kind of bigger than you would expect, an independent pharmacy to be. They've kind of become something greater than the sum of its parts. You can look at C.O. Bigelow, for example. They have this, beautiful store, and they have some great products, but their products go far outside their walls, and they have, a really neat brand experience that goes with them. But other pharmacies can do that. I feel like no matter what size you are, there's something you're doing that's special. How do you identify that? How do you go in and say, what, this is really what we do that's special, and this is something we should promote?
Yeah, I think it's just, kind of looking at your services and looking at your competitors in the market and seeing, what do I do different? To your point, I mean, everybody has that uniqueness, even if it's just, maybe you don't offer a ton of extra services, but maybe you do free delivery or something like that, or, put a time on how soon people get their refills, or there has to be something. So I think just reinforcing that message. I think sometimes pharmacies, they want to tell everybody everything that they offer. We do these 20 different things, and it can be too much for some people, so just focusing on kind of those one or two messages of this is what we're about, or we compound, or, we're starting to see that shift more into like the clinical type services, or the more cash type services of weight loss programs and, high end vitamin supplements, things like that. So, those types of pharmacies are really embracing like, this is what we do. We still fill prescriptions, but this is our kind of our calling. And really just that's your message all the time. And I know it's hard for a lot of people because they're like, well, we also do these 10 other things. I want to talk about that. But, to really get it to resonate with people, you have to kind of stay consistent in that messaging and the branding, so if you come up with a unique logo for that surface or something like that, or a unique name, using that everywhere. You think about like McDonald's, they always have the golden arches. They're always yellow. They've always got their same tagline, things like that. So people, it's ingrained in your brain of what their logo looks like and things like that, because it's always there. They may promote different things, but they always come back to the consistency of the messaging and the branding. So I think just sticking to those one or two things can really help define you and your market on those services.
One of the things that I've seen recently is, a few pharmacies that I can think of have focused on their packaging. Because, and a great example, I think I've talked about that on here before, is like the FabFitFun boxes. If it's worth ordering one, if you haven't, just to kind of analyze their delivery and packaging, because, it's like a custom printed box and it has like gift paper in it. They do a really, really good job that the box itself is part of the unpackaging, it's part of the experience, not just like the random assortment of stuff that shows up. So it's neat because it kind of builds value like outside of the medicine in the bottle or the, like you said, weight loss products, whatever products are in there, or it just seems like they're a little more special. Have you seen a lot of that?
Some. I mean, I don't think as much as there could be, because I mean, to your point, that's made an impression with you, right? So it's kind of made you want to use that product again. We see the customized like outside box with the packaging if they're doing like the strip pack or whatnot, but kind of taking it to that next level of the whole experience doesn't happen, I think, as much as it could. And that's definitely an area for pharmacies to grow in, I think.
Yeah, I think it's one of those like generational things. Like if you grew up with iPhones, you have like a certain experience with, unpackaging products.
Yeah.
It's weird. I see my daughter watching YouTube of like kids opening toys. I'm like, what do you?
Those people make a ton of money with those packaging videos. It's crazy.
Thanks for listening to this clip from Beyond the Scripts, presented by the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we post new content. To stay up to date with all of the latest independent pharmacy news and content, follow PioneerRx on your preferred social media platform.